Hey guys, MrPokke here, back with another video, and welcome to another nuclear Zenless Zone Zero guide. Today we are going to be talking about our stamina allocation and how should you be investing your stamina all the way from level 1 to level 50, right? So that is going to be the rough stages based on CBC 3, and without further ado, let's get into today's content. Subscribe! Alright, first, today we are going to be talking about the stamina question in Zenless Zone Zero, right? These are going to be based on CBD 3, but this is already in the live version. So a lot of players, because of poor stamina planning, you can feel that the early game in Zenless Zone can be very difficult, right? So now a lot of friends, how the hell do we use stamina in Zenless Zone Zero? Because it doesn't really matter if you're just going to be swiping relics, every day logging, clear relics, clear stamina, you know. If you are going to be a casual player and you're just taking the game at your own time, then it really does not matter that much. If you don't care about efficiency, it's fine, right? It's a very casual game anyways. You chill, take your own time, all good. But if you are going to be thinking about how do we become more efficient with our stamina usage, how do we reach the end game a lot faster, example, your shield defense, then you are going to want to have a proper stamina usage to reach the end game much quicker compared to someone that is inefficient with their stamina, right? So you have an easier time in the end game content. So today, they are going to be, is considered the 7th of July in the morning, with the second day of server opening, and I believe that a lot of players are slowly reaching level 30. Leave a comment down below. What level are you guys in right now in Zenless Zone Zero? For me, I'm almost at level 30. After this guide videos, I'm going to go back to playing. So we are going to be leaving level 30 today as a complete free-to-play player, right? Complete free-to-play. I'm completely free-to-play as soon as in. And I also missed one day of login because, you know, I'm built different. Alright, so that's going to be that. As we approach level 30, and most players, and some nuclear sweaty players such as my own mod Sarah, they are going to be approaching level 35. Insane, right? So this is going to be the rough gauge of where you are. So this is the overall experience you're going to be getting daily with no refresh, right? 300 stamina a day, which is 240 from our regeneration, right? And 60 energy from the coffee shop for 3000 experience you can get every single day. For context, how long would this take to reach the level benchmarks? Oh, we also have another 3000 experience from our Holo Zero at level 35, right? So that's going to be another source. So overall, the first phase is going to be level 0 to level 30, which is going to be considered our early game. In this point, we have a lot of side missions, main quests, a lot of progression buffs that can expedite our progress in Zenless Zone Zero's early game, right? But towards our later stages, after level 30 is where things really start to dry up, so you'll feel that the progress will be a lot slower, right? So one thing to keep in mind is going to be at level 27, we were going to be unlocking the Echoes domain, or rather the drive disk drive domain, which is where you farm your relics, your artifacts, right? But highly recommend for players to never ever touch this in the early game. Only wait for the later stages, then we will start. You know, even though you're not at level 27, it is highly not recommended to invest in your disk drives, right? Focus on your units, focus on your levels, focus on your tracers, focus on your weapon level. Just don't think about this even if you unlock this. Likely that it is much more recommended to wait until level 45. That is when you can get a gold drive discs. It will also unlock this tuning shop, which is basically like a Gemba, a mini Echo Gemba, right? You can get these Echo Gemba charts from basically your normal missions, your normal side quests, all that kind of stuff. You can get a little bit here and there. That's gonna be that. Another thing that you're gonna be unlocking at level 25 is gonna be your ascension materials. Your ascension materials. So this is gonna be basically for talents, all that kind of stuff. Your talents, your ascension, they're all completely free. So you are definitely going to be farming this eventually. Much more recommended to farm this compared to our drive this, right? Keep in mind this talent over here, which is the C talent. You need level 35 to farm for this talent over here. But at level 35, you unlock the next phase. So it is recommended for you to not pre-farm this specifically until you hit level 35. If you're going to be getting the third unlock, right? Just to be a little bit more efficient, because, you know, having more difficulty gives you a better bang for your buck, right? So it is just slightly more efficient there. Okay, cool. That's going to be that. So the rough calculation needed for level 29 to level 35 is going to need roughly 3 days. Free to play, right? No refresh, roughly 3 days. And then for level 35 to level 40, it's gonna need a whole ass week. It's exponential increase, right? So it will take a little bit for players to actually eventually reach this stage. So just plan accordingly. Don't expect this to be done in the first 2 days, right? So that's gonna be that. And from level 30 to 40, that's when you enter into the resource drought. In CBD3, the resource drought was very, very apparent because even though you upgraded in terms of you unlocked more difficulties for your units, right? You unlock more difficulties for your resources. The amount of resources you need to promote your agents, to raise your units levels, and it also increases a lot. So expect a severe resource drought, and which is why I say in my previous videos as well, it is much more recommended to hyper invest in your main DPS and main DPS alone before investing in your supports, your breakers, because they legit can function without it. Your main DPS will be the one getting the best bang for buck for this very, very tight for resource stage in the early game, right? So 30 to 40, really play on resources, highly recommended to raise your main DPS first. At the same time, the missions, the side quests, they'll also start to dwindle down, right? So it is where you just chill. Just chill, slowly farm, no pressure whatsoever. So that's gonna be that. So the order of priority, like I mentioned over here, is gonna be the order of priority for a race is gonna be unit levels, then engine levels, then talent levels, talent traces, whatever, right? So unit, engine, talent traces, right? So that is gonna be the order of priority. After you finish all this, then you can consider going for your drive discs. But the amount of time it will take for you to finish this up, it can be a little bit long. This is probably going to take you at least like 3 to 4 days, at least. So and that's for one unit, right? So I think that even though you can consider, but only consider this after you consider finish all this tree, but even still, not really recommended to fund this until you are level 45, right? So that's going to be up to your preference, okay? At level 35, it is also very, very recommended to raise a proper team because the difficulty of Zenless Zone Zero, it ramps up exponentially the moment you hit these stages. Content creators right now, especially Western content creators saying the game, they're too fucking easy. At level 35, the difficulty spike is very, very apparent. I'm sure some of you guys might have already experienced it before, even at level 28, 27. You are getting very, very long fight times with shitty team building. If you're not running days or you're rotation a dog, you don't parry, the fight is really starting to get there. At level 35 is if you don't have a good team, you will definitely get punished. So it is very, very recommended to raise a proper team by the time you reach level 35, right? So you can see that if you have, for example, if you have a shitty team, even for Holo Zero, this is Holo Zero, the simulated universe, right? It can take you at least half an hour to even clear the mobs, to even clear this stage. So this is based on CBD3. Maybe they nerf the enemies, but we have no idea. But based on CBD3, a shitty team takes at least half an hour to clear Holo Zero. So do take that into consideration, right? So that's gonna be your level 30 to 40. And now going into level 40 to 50 is where everything becomes super, super tight, super, super no energy, no mission whatsoever. This is basically the touch grass period, right? This is going to be the touch grass period. You need basically 3 weeks to reach level 50 from level 40, right? No refresh, whatever. So this is basically, you just chill. Maybe you get a little bit more of a benefit, maybe a little bit more events, more rewards. It might nerf this by like 1 or 2 days. So roughly still going to be 3 weeks, right? So this stage, everybody is still same, right? Raise your levels, raise your engines, raise your talents. Always focus on this. Until about roughly level 47, recommended to swipe for credits and experience books. So this is good. I think this is where he shows how much fucking money you need to raise your units. Okay, level 50 and above. This is where every single, or rather almost every single farming stages will reach the highest difficulty. So maximum efficiency, right? This is where everything is going to be the max, which is where we have our highest resource bottleneck. Okay, this is very important, right? The amount of Dennies you need for Ascension, unit Ascension, is 400,000. Weapon Ascension, 200,000. Bamboo Ascension, 250,000. And that's Ascension and Ascension alone. For context, right now, my account has 2 million. So the moment you ascend 3 units, this is gone. From Ascension alone, we're not even including the amount of money it takes to level up, to build traces or all that, right? So this will go away instantly, which is very, very quick, right? Which is why I think he recommended at 47 to 50, start pre-farming a little bit for your experience books and Dennies, because it takes a ridiculous amount of money to raise up your stuff, right? So very, very high pressure to raise up a full team of 3, or eventually if you want to do like Holo Zero, shield defense, you need 2 teams. 2 teams! It is ridiculous amounts of resources needed, right? So that's that. then this is gonna be the suggested order of investment. Main DPS, go for your unit levels and your weapon levels. For your slot 2 and slot 3, usually it's gonna be your breaker, your supports. You can honestly just leave them, chill, level 50, and leave them there. For your main DPS can go level 60, level 70, whatever color. Chill level 50, you don't even need to invest in the weapons that much. All in main DPS. So that is gonna be a considerable investment path for you to get the best weapon. Alright, so that's gonna be that. And give your main DPS a decent set of drive discs. So you can farm a little drive discs in there, but only your main DPS. Don't even consider drive discs for your stuff because it legit costs way too much resources to divest your stamina into anything but Denny's and experience at this point, right? So don't invest too much, but if your main DPS can have a good drive disc set, then that is gonna give you the best bang for buck, right? So that's gonna be that. And prepare for your second team at this point. It is more recommended to start preparing for your second team because by the time you reach more than level 50, I think it is probably 1 month into the game. 3 weeks to 1 month into the game. So prepare raising your second team at this point. Don't make your supports and breaker the same level as the main DPS. So instead of running like one team of like full level, max racers, you can just raise 1 DPS plus 2 weaker supports and breaker, and a second team with 1 main DPS and 2 supports and breakers, right? So this at least allows you to start tackling into the endgame changes a little bit. This is roughly 1 month into the spot, right? So consider bringing something. Now, another question that you guys will be having: should we save our stamina? Should we save these batteries? Because this is basically your stamina potion, right? Take these charges. Should we save them at level 50 to use, or do we just use them right now? So that is going to be another question that you guys might be considering. And so this is based on his personal opinion, right? It depends on 2 conditions. Number 1 is those that don't give a shit about optimization or don't give a shit about Reddit quality. Because basically the best bang for buck for your battery essentially would be the same as Honkai Star Pass or Genshin Impact, which is going to be saving these batteries until you reach the max level for your relics, your drive discs. Then you spam these into drive discs to get the best bang for buck. That will be the super future outlook, maximum bang for buck. Doing this will give you the net returns, the net high returns, because at the end of the day, guess what is the one thing we're going to be farming for the rest of our lives? Drive discs. That's the only thing you're going to be farming. So for the absolute highest efficiency, because that is the only thing I'm going to be farming, this, technically speaking, bang for buck should be used. So consider that in your own right. So that's going to be that. You can also consider using this for your experience books and Denny's. But this is for players that are a little bit more sweaty and they want to push into shield defense earlier. So if you are in no rush to farm for shield defense, but if you want to push the second team, then you can use your batteries. In fact, it could be more recommended because if you build up a second team earlier, you then get more, polychromes, right? Because it refreshes. So these are refreshable polychromes. So that is going to be another power thought, right? So it depends on, do you want to tackle endgame content earlier or do you want to tackle the endgame content later? That is going to be up to you, right? This is if you are a unrelatable player. Not like myself, I'm free to play, right? If you are an unrelatable player and you decide to buy the battle pass, you're also going to get a pretty good amount of resources to add to your arsenal, which can definitely alleviate this very, very big resource deficiency we're going to be experiencing towards level 40 and level 50, right? At level 50, you can consider raising this, like pre-farming this a little bit. You can consider pre-farming your resources a little bit pre-level 50. Simply because of the amount you need, right? I think you mentioned at level 47 to level 50, you can pre-farm a little bit on experience and Denny's just because of how much you actually need to raise up. Not even 2 teams, right? Even 1 you need a lot. So even though you're not at maximum efficiency at level 50, even at level 40, you can consider getting a little bit more just to get you started. Because think about it this way, the moment you hit the next equilibrium level, all these Star Rail Brain Rot, the enemies will get a lot harder, right? So if you can stash up a little bit to instantly pump into DPS and ascend them, then you can get a little bit of an easier time going into the next ascension, right? So that's going to be that. In summary, before level 50, unit level, engine level, talent level, 3 level 50, right? Only get your usable drive discs. As long as they're usable, decent sets, all that kind of stuff, you don't really need to focus on drive discs that much because these 3 things will take a ridiculous amount of stamina. And That's pretty much it. From 45 to 50, you can start prepping. 47, 45, you can start prepping for level 50 by pre-farming a little bit of experience and Denny's, just because you need a shit ton of this when you are investing into your teams, right? So you can pre-farm a little bit, and then your stamina potions, it depends on what you want. Do you want to tackle the endgame content earlier, or do you want to tackle ending content later? Do you want to build a second team earlier or later? Depends on if you want your second team earlier or later, right? So that is gonna be that for our stamina guide in Zenless Zone Zero, roughly speaking, all the way to level 50. Keep in mind, these, especially for the level 40 to 50, it is based on CBD tree income, right? So maybe we get a little bit more, maybe we get a little bit less. We don't really know yet. Maybe they improve the income, but based on the CBD tree, it is very, 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 very resource tight, resource bottlenecked to raise up your teammates, right? Raise up your team. So please take that into your consideration. And yeah, if you guys have any comments, leave it down below or join the Discord, discord.gg for Twitch.tv for so we're almost at 100,000 subscribers. Hopefully, by the time this video goes up, we are already at 100,000 subscribers. So that's gonna be that. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for our content. All the best for your Ellen pools. All the best for your Ellen weapon if you're gonna be getting her. And I'll see you guys next time.